My dear brothers and sisters, tonight, on this most sacred night, we are taken to the upper room and recall the events that occurred there. Indeed, we can very simply, I think, tonight picture ourselves there in that room, observing all that the Lord said and did. And of course, our attention is drawn particularly to his words and actions over the bread and wine. It is the Jewish Passover meal, which has its own ritual given in detail in the book of Exodus that we read this evening. And for a Jew, it commemorates the extraordinary events surrounding the liberation from slavery by the Egyptians. And Jesus takes this occasion with all its deep significance and transforms it to what will become the great Christian ritual, what we simply call the Mass. St. Paul provides us with the oldest written text outlining the events of the Last Supper, and we read that this evening. And he simply reflects the faith and practice of the first Christian communities. And I draw your attention to his description of what Jesus did at the Last Supper. Now, we are very familiar with the words and the actions. But on this night, as we commemorate the Last Supper, let us ponder them afresh. So perhaps you can imagine yourself there in the room and noting carefully what takes place. After taking the bread and giving thanks, Jesus broke it and said, "This is my body, given for you. Do this as a memorial of me." Tonight I'd like to particularly focus on the phrase, "given for you." This is my body, he said, given for you. It's a remarkable declaration. Jesus is saying in these words that he offers himself, his very body, for us. And to grasp the meaning of what Jesus has just said, we cannot help but go to Calvary and the events that would take place there on the next day. Because that is the moment when he physically gave his body for us. He offered himself, his very life, as a perfect sacrifice to the Father for us. In the torment and pain of the cross, Jesus gave himself up as an offering for all of humanity, that we might be redeemed from the dual enemies of the human condition, that of sin and death. On the cross, Jesus revealed the most profound truth about God and the most profound truth about the human condition. He showed that God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, who would offer himself in sacrifice for the redemption of humanity. But he also showed us a profound truth, a truth about ourselves, that we too can only be truly human by making a sacrifice of ourselves. On the cross, he witnessed to what he had taught his disciples previously. In one place in St. Matthew's Gospel, he said, "For whoever wants to save his life will lose it. And whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." In other words, for us to be truly human, we must also enter on a path of self-giving, of losing our lives, of sacrifice. So let me say that again. For us to be truly human, we must learn to take a path of self-giving, of losing our lives, of sacrifice. To be truly human, we must learn how to give away our life. For if we try to cling to what is ours, we will, as the Lord said, lose what we have. So the great mystery of becoming fully human is discovering how to lose ourselves. This was expressed in the teaching of the Second Vatican Council, where it says in the document Gaudium et Spes, it says, "Man is the only creature on earth which God willed for himself, and he cannot truly find himself except through a sincere gift of himself." So we must learn to give away ourselves so we might truly find ourselves. Because you see, this finally is what love is. And Jesus has given us the ultimate expression of pure love. Because love is a gift of self for the good of another. And Christ on Calvary gave us the perfect example of this love and showed the depth of this love that lies in the very heart of God himself. To love is to embrace the call to sacrifice, to give ourselves away. To love is to make a gift of ourselves to the other. And this is a truth that was revealed at the Last Supper, when Jesus, in his own words, said that he gave himself for us. He gave himself completely, totally for us. "This is my body, given for you." In effect, Jesus says, "I'm going to give you all I have, all I am, for you, for your sake." So in these words, we're invited to embrace the personal and unconditional love of Jesus, not only for all of humanity, but also for each one of us. And at every celebration of the Eucharist, we encounter nothing less than that love. Pure love. Personal love. The love that Jesus has for each one of us, and a love that is beyond our comprehension. It also invites us to see that love is both the supreme need and the supreme calling of every human being. Pope St. John Paul II expressed this truth in these words: Man cannot live without love. He remains a being that is incomprehensible to himself. His life is senseless if love is not revealed to him, if he does not encounter love, if he does not experience love and make it his own, if he does not participate intimately in it. So love is at the heart of all that it means to be human. My brothers and sisters, on this night, this sacred night, this night when we are taken to the upper room, to the Last Supper, let us be conscious of what the Lord did on that night and what he's offered us. So let's be humbly aware that every time we approach the altar to receive Holy Communion, we encounter love. The love of Jesus, who has given himself for us. And we encounter a love that is a redeeming love, a sacrificial love that has wrought salvation for humanity. And every time that we receive Holy Communion, we are drawn into love, the love of God for us. And every time we receive Holy Communion, Jesus invites us to be transformed by the experience of this love. And so when I leave the altar after receiving Holy Communion, return to my place, let's be aware that each of us have become enabled to become a conduit of that love to others, to the world. And the way that I love and are able to love is as Jesus has shown and as Jesus has given to me. And so I see my life as a disciple of Jesus in the same way that Jesus saw his own life. And my life too is to become a life given for others.